Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for another episode of Pornstar Confessions. Today I've got Max Adonis. Welcome, Max.
Hi, how are y'all? Thanks for having
So, how'd you get the name Adonis? I love it. How'd you come up
me.
with it?
It's actually a party I would dance at in LA. I was like a twink in West Hollywood, just getting like started, and they were really good to me. They kind of gave me a home to dance at like twice a week. I'd go to New York and I would dance for them there. They're just really good guys. Actually, his name was Jason, and the other brother's name was Tim. And yeah, no, I just loved the name Adonis, and I thought it was maybe something to aspire to be, something to live up to, something to kind of, you know, just like, yeah, like live up to for, per se.
Fair enough. So, how'd you get started in the industry?
How to get started? Sheesh, I was go-go dancing for about 4 years, on and off. Had a couple Johns in my life. Had dabbled in being like a sugar baby. And I think I started realizing maybe it's more of a slippery slope than I had anticipated. My couple good friends that I danced with were porn stars, and I was like, they have it together. They're living life. They're really happy. What am I so afraid of? And so yeah, my porn uncle, I call him. His name's Eddie CT. He introduced me to his agent at the time, Chris Crisco, and this is like almost like right when OnlyFans started. So I had an OnlyFans for like a couple months. Was wearing a like mask, trying to like hide my face. And so then after I had filmed like my first scene on OnlyFans without the mask, I realized, okay, this fits. This feels good. Why am I hiding why am I gonna hide all this? Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think I just got confident as the years went on, and as time slowly, it kind of just was a slow build, and eventually, 2018 April, I had my first studio scene, and then just went from there.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, the slippery slope thing, I agree with
Yeah,
you 1,000%. Like, one of my favorite quotes is, when you cross that line, it always starts off with the small step.
yeah,
But no, you're running as fast as you can.
yeah. I mean, at that point, it was like, I'm 28. I wanted to not miss out on any more time. I think, you know, and especially with the way the world's been headed, I'm like, fuck it, like, let me live the life I want to live. Um, so.
So, how old are you now?
33, yeah, officially.
Wow. Okay, that's rather impressive that you became aware of your own mortality at that point in your life. It's usually not until like mid 30s to 40 that people are like, "Oh shit, there's only so much time left."
Yeah, I mean, I think it has a lot to do with my dad. He got sick. I was adopted by my grandparents. So my dad, he was 80, and he started kind of like experiencing dementia and needed like full time home care. So I moved in with them, and then COVID happened. And so, I mean, this was like 2020, so like only 2.5 years after I started porn. I don't even like to count COVID as a year because I was just stuck at home. But watching him kind of deteriorate, yeah, that fucked me up. That really like hit home. And I think that's when I was like, okay, let me go full into this. Let me, start traveling more. Let me, go to Europe. Let me really just, um, yeah. You're right. Like the mortality thing, I think that really hit home because it was like I turned 30. It's all kind of happening all at once. So like I thought I was kind of following suit in him. Like after he passed, I was like, damn, like my life's not over yet. You know, like I kind of had to do it for him. I know that's weird, like doing gay porn for my dad, but like, like I don't know. Like I'm kind of crazy in that way. Like,
I get it. It makes sense.
yeah. I mean, he justified like loving me for being gay, and he was kind of religious, so he was like, "Well, God made you perfect, and God made everything." So that really, like, I think that's when I was like, you know what, I have permission now to kind of do what I want to
Oh,
do. But,
damn. Okay. No, I get it. That totally makes sense. That you're just like, fuck it. We only got one life. You might as well go out and do everything you want to do. There's no reset button or do overs. So,
yeah, and it's a small gay world, like at this point, it's like everybody kind of hears about everyone, knows who someone is, and it's just, I kind of wanted to have, I think, a reputation that I, like had a little foundation maybe I could jump off of. And I know that our industry is a little more accepting in our community, like it's not as like taboo as in the straight world per se, Like I always thought like the pillars of the gay community were like drag queens and porn stars.
oh my god. So going back, what were you doing for work before you got into go-go dancing?
Oh, sheesh. Well, I thought I wanted to be like an actor, like a real actor. So I had like a commercial agent and a theatrical agent, and I was going out on little auditions, like pretty big commercials actually. Like one was for like Mercedes, like a bunch of random ones, but I wasn't booking anything, and I think it was just like oversaturated market. Um,
Yeah.
so that was kind of like a dead end leading nowhere, in my opinion. Like I was just running out of money, running out of like the chance to make like that kind of iconic like role or something. I don't know. It just was a lot of no's. So I kind of gave up on that, right? Cliche as it is. But yeah, right up until that, like what was giving me money, I had worked my way up inside this bagel company and had worked my way up to assistant manager. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna like never leave Arizona if I freaking, just don't make the move. So that's what got me to Phoenix, started go-go dancing, and then it kind of like snowballed from there.
Okay. I mean, it's never too late though. I was watching a video the other day and they were saying that Samuel L. Jackson didn't book his first movie role until like 46 or 47.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and that's the thing is like a lot of people actually have made it like a second life, a third life, because
Mm,
they just never quit. They always just kind of, held out. And
yeah,
I think that's really what I think I've learned a lot about porn as well. It's just about longevity, um,
yeah,
not let it eat you up inside, not take too many things personally, kind of, go with the flow, just be open minded. And then I think opportunities will come your way when you least expect it. Definitely, like, a door will close, three more open.
yeah. So, with what you just said, I think you make a really interesting point because I'd be willing to bet the average porn actor's career is very similar to the NFL. It's probably only 1, 2, 3 years tops.
Yeah.
So with your story, what do you attribute your longevity to? Like, how have you avoided getting burned out or falling off the face of the planet? That type of shit.
I mean, I've definitely had, um, I think a kinkier side that I was hiding. And the first couple of years was just like vanilla, kind of like just like content that I thought people wanted to see. And now I think I've kind of transitioned more into making content I want to make. So I started like, got a couple fits now, and I just did like, I mean, it was my record, but it was like 4 loads, you know, 4 really hot guys. I mean, my record was 3 for like years. So I just broke that. I hit 4. So I think I just a slow climb into complete pigginess. um, Also,
No.
I feel very blessed that I'm able to sustain like my lifestyle through porn, through like meet and greets, as I like to
Yeah.
call like escorting. So yeah, I'm lucky that I have a little name recognition right now. And that is always a shock, like when you go out and like people notice you. And so I think like I've just been good on set. I've never had like an experience where they kicked me off or I couldn't come or like these kind of taboo things people don't talk about, like not getting a boner. Like I've never had that issue. Like, and I know like Raging Stallions, it's written in their contract, like if you don't come, they're going to cut your pay in half. It's really fucked up, but once word gets around about like you not being able to perform like that really could throttle anyone's career for sure.
Oh yeah. No, I think you make a really good point though when it comes to authenticity, because I was actually talking with one of my good friends the other day, and you think about a lot of public figures who are just very authentic and just they it's kind of like the stereotypical older black woman where she just fucking says whatever comes to her mind, like no filter anything. And even if someone doesn't agree with them, they still respect them for being real. And I think that's what you're saying is that you have that certain level of authenticity because people, even if it's subconsciously, if you're not into it, they can tell.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, for sure. And I mean, I've seen a lot of porn. Well, I've been in these porns where I'm paired with a guy. He's not fully into it. And like they do like the fake kisses, and I could see that stuff, and I think that's kind of why studio porn has kind of been on the decline, because it
Mhm.
does feel kind of fake. It does feel kind of contrived in that way, and I think
Yep.
people are like grasping for what you said, authenticity. And I know like
Yeah.
fan sites like Just for Fans really kind of like pulls like that kind of audience because they know what to expect. It might be a little more believable. There's less gimmicks, with
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And one thing you mentioned, I'm curious if you have a process. So, for those of you watching this video, coming on set is not easy. Like if you can jerk off and come in your free time, that is nothing
Yeah.
like coming on set.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I mean, I personally had directors fall asleep waiting for me
yeah.
to pop.
But you got there.
That
You
was
got
like,
there.
so how do you like,
How do I
you know,
prepare for something
how do
like
you do
that?
that? Yeah.
Well, yeah, expect the unexpected. I just assume like the worst usually. So I'll go like if I know I have a scene coming up. Usually they give you at least a week's notice. If you're not like the last minute guy because some other guy failed his test. And they hit you up like a week before. You're like, oh great, I'm glad I was the first to first pick. But I tried to abstain from jerking off or any kind of sexual contact for like at least 2 to 3 days, just so I'm really hyped up. I mean, they're paying us, at least hopefully $1,000, for a scene. But we can't be very, picky choosers, or can't be lucky every time. But yeah, that helps me because like I won't touch my dick for the couple days. So then when it's time to like whip it out, I'm just kind of ready to go. I
Oh,
have gotten better about like being able to come in like a couple positions. Like I think I always wanted to practice coming standing up, or coming on my back with my legs in the air, or come like in doggy style, like all these kind of positions I wouldn't normally do in the comfort of my home, because it's like it's so easy to just lay on your back, point your toes, kind of do the thing. But I'd be like, okay, like let me try and spread my hips, like let me try and go out here, do one of these.
yeah.
And I think after I was like, okay, like once I learned I could come standing up, I was like, okay, we got this. Like, I know that's so random, but for me that was like impossible for like so long. Like,
No, it makes sense though, because when you're standing up, your body's diverting blood flow and energy to your legs to stand up, your stabilizer muscles to balance. Like it's diverting so much energy
yeah.
elsewhere. So I mean, it makes sense that it would be, difficult.
And everyone kind of, I love it because everyone's kind of got their thing. So like I knew one guy who needed to like make sounds. Like he had to kind of go, like he had to make those like kind of orgasm sounds to like trick
Yeah.
his brain into orgasming. I knew one guy who needed to have like a chair, or like some kind of like pressure on his like groin, like on his like
Yeah.
taint, because like that sensation would get him there. Or
Yeah.
one guy. I mean, there's times where guys they'll pull up their phone, and they're like, let
Yeah.
me just look at what I gotta look at. And honestly, at that point, I'm like, do it. Like, let's just get the fuck out of here. Like,
Yeah.
rub one out real quick to whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah. So what originally made you go into go-go dancing? Like
Sheesh.
what? Like did someone say something? Were you always good at dancing? I mean, what was
No,
it? Because
no.
I can't dance for shit.
I couldn't dance. I couldn't fucking dance. But I have like, I think a warm personality, I can smile, I can kind of give someone my attention, make them feel special. That definitely played to my advantage. But my friend, actually, he knows this story because his name's Mitch. He was at my gym, and me and my boyfriend at the time were like watching him. We're like, oh, that guy's definitely gay. Like, we were like, oh, like it's Tucson, so it's a small town. We didn't really have that many gays at the gym. So we became his friend. We started talking to him, and I saw on his Instagram he'd post his money. Like he would take pictures of all these wines, all these all these tips
Yeah.
he'd be getting, and I'd be like, damn, like living paycheck to paycheck at this point. So I was like, how are you making this money? And he's like, oh, I drive up to Phoenix on the weekends, like, and I go dance at this bar called Roscoe's. Yeah, Roscoe's, yeah. Or is it Rocco's? It's one of those. So I started giving lap dances. That was like my experience, was right off the bat, was giving lap dances. And they had like a
Okay.
stripper pole. So, like you had to learn moves at this bar to like kind of get the attention. Um, but yeah, yeah. So I would drive up on the weekends. Like my job, we'd be done at like 5. The doors would close at 5, but we still had to close up. So it would be like 2 hours of close, or like an hour and a half of close. And I would get that shit done before 5. I'd be like, I have to get on the road. I have to drive to Phoenix. Like, I gotta dance, shake my ass.
Okay. So how'd you go from that to escorting then?
Yeah, I had a client that would come see me dance a lot. He was a
Oh,
nice guy. Like him and his husband would come, like with all their friends, and he would like get a lap dance for me, like at least once or twice a night, like when I would come up. And then it turned into lunches, and afternoon delights. And that's when I was like, like I need to move to LA. Like I have to like I was 27 and 26 when I started formulating the LA plans. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And you still live in LA now?
No, I moved back to Tucson. I got a place with my
Why?
brother, and I actually built out a van. Might be able to see it out there. That's my van. Um, so that's got a bed in there, and I travel around in that and like go porn when I'm on the road.
What?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. It saves
Jeez.
money on hotels and flights and all that. So it's got like a refrigerator. It's got running water. Yeah, it's got everything you need.
What? Okay, wow. How much did it cost you to put that all together?
Oh shit. Well, I watch a lot of like van life videos, and I think the algorithm at the time was like pumping them out, so showing me all the videos, that I could, probably watch at the time, because this is when I was taking care of my dad, so it was just like my only outlet, my like dream at that time to like build this van and like, I caught the van life bug definitely. And it just made sense in my mind because, the fan sites, they're all online. You can make all your money there. And it kind of actually is incentive to travel because there's not that many performers here in my town. Phoenix, there's more guys, but they're like a rare breed of porn star.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So after I built that, it took me a year, like just to kind of learn as I went and piece it all in there. Um,
What do you think it costs total?
Total. So right now I'm still paying for the van, so it's like 600 a month. And the overall price of the van was 39 grand. So I'm like 3 years into paying for that, and then I put I think about 8,000 inside of it. Yeah, because you gotta buy solar panels, lithium batteries. I mean, if you want like a sustainable kind of setup that isn't gonna kick out after like a couple years. So they say
Dude,
the lithium lasts about like 10 years. So um,
that's crazy.
yeah, yeah, I have a few
Good for
videos in
you.
there. It's pretty fun.
No, I mean it makes sense because like you said, you can travel, you don't have to book hotel rooms,
Mm,
you've got a mobile place to shoot.
mm.
Yeah, there's really I can't think of too many okay.
Yeah, no, I actually don't know many porn guys who've ventured into this. I know a couple guys have like a fuck van, but there's no way that they could live and like travel for months at a time out of that, because
Uh,
just like padding or like an LED light, like for I'll send you some pictures on Twitter if you want. Because I
okay.
put like
Yeah, no, that would be
stars on the
cool.
ceiling. It's definitely not like a creeper van in that way. Because I'll invite guys I find on like Sniffies, and I'll be like, "Hey, like, you want to get sucked off in my van? Like, no face." They don't know what to
What?
expect. They think they're gonna get like kidnapped or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, if someone like I'm just being brutally honest, I'm sorry, but like if someone messaged me some shit on like that on Grinder,
Yeah,
I'd be like, "This is a fucking rape van." Like the creepy van you see in the movies or TV shows.
yeah.
That's what I would be picturing in my head.
But yeah, that definitely, yeah, by the river, like the whole thing.
So true. So wow, that's impressive. I'll give you points for like creativity and ingenuity.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So, what in the fuck is Sniffies? I've heard a couple people mention it, but I don't know what the fuck it is.
Well, okay, so it's like a grinder, like a hookup app, but they allow nudity in like their profile pictures, and
Oh,
there's instead of it being like a grid of pictures, kind of ranked on like location, it actually will show a map of the city you're in and like where everybody is. So you kind of know generally where a hookup could be. And also it has like setups. Like if you sign up and you pay like the minimum or something, you can set up groups and you can set up all these kind of things and send out invites or it's just like definitely a cruising app. like and it'll have
Okay.
locations, so like it'll be like it'll say LA Fitness or it'll say like this truck stop. like, like it's very obscure like hookup spots, and like it has each location will have like an open discussion on it, so people will be like, hey, anyone here, is it busy, like what's going
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I asked because I've been banned off Grinder, God, like 40 times now.
Yeah, it just happened to me. So like, I have to start like a new Google like number or something like that.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, like what happens in my experience is, if you don't respond to someone fast enough or you turn someone down, they're like, "Oh, fuck Max, I'm going to report his profile and get
Yeah,
him banned." Like, oh my God, grow the fuck up.
yeah, and I'm really afraid of that. Especially being here, like back home where I'm from, it's a smaller town, so I like have to try and like be really nice and like because I'm afraid of that, like that they're gonna just retaliate against me simply for existing. And like the standards for us are different for some reason, and I can't do
Yeah,
that.
that is so true. So, eh, you're on the road most of the time, or
Yeah, like
do you?
I'm supposed to leave tomorrow. I'm supposed to get on the road
Oh wow.
tomorrow. We have the Pig Daddy party for New Year's in Palm Springs. That's on the 30th, and then I'm gonna go to Vegas for like a couple things. Hopefully film as well, and then I'm gonna go to LA until like I think the 23rd, 24th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't keep like a primary resident.
No, I do. Yeah, yeah. So this is the place I share with my brother. Um,
Okay, all right.
I was adopted by my grandparents, right? So my brother,
Yeah, yeah.
a little older than me, he's about like 59. So he, yeah, like his apartment, like the rent kept going up, and so the plan was for me to just be on the road and like until I pay off the van. So but it just wasn't feasible for him to stay at his place because he was always kind of like barely scraping by and was like racking up credit card debt just to like get by. So now, we've got this place, and yeah, luckily we're paying a mortgage, so I'm able to split
Oh,
that with him. Yeah. So it's definitely an investment, and if I was to try and live in another city, I would still have to manage this rent on top of everything, which sucks,
gotcha.
but it'll be worth it like down the line.
No, that's very honorable of you to do that with your brother. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, my sister wasn't happy though. She was kind of
Why?
because she saw it as me not going with like living and like helping her out. She kind of was, I think, I don't know, this is family drama, I shouldn't get into it.
Okay. So,
I mean, I see
it,
her side for sure, but I mean, she wouldn't want to live with me. I'm a slut. So-
so you said you were raised by your grandparents. How did that come to be?
oh sheesh, yeah. Me and my sister, yeah, we got taken away from our biological mom when it was like 1998. I was like 7 when it happened.
Oh,
She was just, she had addiction issues. And she was like really heavy into heroin.
yeah.
And I never really knew my dad actually. My biological dad. We met eventually, like when in my 20s, and he's just like kind of a piece of shit and super religious and would like tell me like I'm going to hell. And then would try to like shift the blame from him just being an absent father to like saying like, oh, you can't blame me for the way you turned out. And I'm like, I'm fine, like I'm happy, like you're not part of my life, so stop texting me at 3 a.m. Random sermons on YouTube where they tell us gays are destroying society. Like, really fucked up shit.
Oh
I
my
posted
god.
one of the text threads actually on my Twitter, and people were like, wow, this guy's a piece of shit. Like, what the fuck? But his last name was actually Max. So that's kind of why I took ownership of that name, because I was like, this name's going to be in my head no matter what. I'm going to be thinking about this piece of shit. So let me just change the meaning of it. And that's where Max Adonis came from. So I was like, and I think when he found out my porn name, he was really mad because that's when he like upticked like the messages and like
Jesus.
it's kind of fucked up,
Wow.
but what? You are naked. I'm naked. Come on over. Okay, well, bye. I love you. Happy birthday. Thanks. Sorry, she's got to go bowling at like 12:30, so I was like, oh, I'll stop by.
Oh, okay. Is that your mom?
Yeah, and then we're gonna do dinner tonight.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
that sounds.
yeah. She's really active. She's actually more busy than I am for being 80. Like, she goes bowling like twice, three, like, has game times like with my aunts and uncles, and they're actually all in a widows club. It's kind of dark sided, like it's kind of fucked up. But
A widow's club? What
yeah,
the
so
fuck?
like my dad, his brother passed away like 5 years ago. So then my aunt, she was like, widowed. And then my dad passed. And then my dad's sister-in-law, so my aunt, her brother's wife passed away. So now they're just like, it all happened kind of like one after the other. And always around Christmas time, like right around the holidays. So this is kind of like a really weird time for all of us. And that's why I always like try to come home for the holidays and just like take a month off, 2 months off, just to like be here for that. Because I also don't know how long I have with her either, and she
Yeah.
loves to remind us that she can go any minute. But we're always like, "Mom, shut up! Like, you're gonna live at least to your 90s." She's got those like good Italian genes, I think, like where the women outlive everyone.
Well, not even just that, but I genuinely believe a core part of happiness and longevity and health is just having a mission or a purpose or something to get your ass out of bed in the morning, and it really sounds like she has that.
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of people, when they hit like that retirement age, they don't want to retire because they're kind of like, what would I do? And I think I've definitely fostered like, I mean, because of like her example, like the importance of a hobby. You know what I mean? Or like more than just working for the man. Like at the end of the day, like we still have to make time for us, and you know yeah, she's a big inspiration for me for sure.
No, that's awesome. And it really sounds like a lot of just your personality and your values, your moral compass comes from her.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. I would agree. Yeah.
So, all right. So you started doing escorting and then you got into porn. What was that like? Did you think like, oh shit, here we go further down the rabbit hole? Like, what was your thought process in making that step?
Yeah, like yeah. Um I think what really cemented it in was, you know, I was go-go dancing in LA like 4 nights a week. Um and that was great. And I had this gentleman, still very thankful to him, and we were on touchy base for a little bit, but we're friends technically. Like I know if I see him, it would be like genuine, like good connection. He was paying my rent for like
Oh wow.
a good year, and yeah, I think after he took that away, like I was kind of like I had to, embrace living completely on my own at that point, like with no help. I think that definitely made me consider escorting more and um, getting a rent man. So once I had established Max Adonis as like a personality, I was like, okay, let me get a rent man page up. And it wasn't until like 2 years, 3 years into the porn, right after COVID, um, people would know me by name. So it was like I could tell how they would be texting me, treating me different. They would want to pay the 400 an hour or whatever, higher rate than like the normal going was. And I know like to this day, like if someone doesn't know me or like my porn, they're just kind of browsing through the site, they'll be like, how much for 20 minutes, And I'm like, that's not really me. That's not my style. Like, hit up one of the other guys.
Yeah. God, yeah, no. I've gotten plenty of those texts too. Oh, can we do half an hour? I'm just like,
Yeah.
absolutely not. Fuck that.
Yeah.
No, there's an hour minimum. This is not like let's make a deal, you know.
And I even try to do like a 2 hour minimum. Like, I've been doing that lately. Where I lower the rate, but I do like a 2 hour minimum kind of thing.
Mm.
Just because most of the time they want to pay a lower rate. So, they think they got a deal. But it's really like I get the deal because, I can get a guy to come pretty quick. And usually they just want to be done after they get off. But, yeah, there's no point in doing like a 30-minute. It just doesn't make any sense.
No, because I mean that's the thing is like the difference between spending half an hour versus an hour with someone is negligible. What's chewing up all the time is you getting ready, having to drive over there, having to drive back. That's
Right.
the time consuming part.
Right. Literally, like, if I have to travel more than 30 minutes, like, I need a deposit. I need, like, some kind of skin in the game on their end. And, sheesh, we can give out tips right now. Like, get paid up front, put the money in your bag, put it away. Don't just leave it on the counter but like when you ask for the money, start taking your shirt off. You know what I mean? So they know like you're there to stay. Don't be like
Yeah.
fully clothed up and be like, "Where's the money?" Like, you know what I mean?
That just sounds super sketchy.
Yeah, yeah. Because they don't trust you either. Like it's kind of like a
Yeah, exactly.
two-way. Yeah.
So what like did you ever have any escorting experience that really stuck out in your mind? You'll never forget.
Oh man, just like the bad ones, right? I've had some good ones where I'm like, dang, like I love this job, like a really hot guy where I'm like, you don't even need to hire, like you could get anyone you want. And I've had the guys where it's like one of their first gay experiences actually.
Yep.
So like they're so nervous that they're like shaky. They're kind of like really hesitant, but like also like I'm having the time of my life because I don't know. I don't think I'm corrupting them in that moment, but I definitely felt like I had something I could teach these guys. And
Yep.
I was like, I want to give them a good first experience. You know,
Yep.
but no, I've had guys, where like the rules and like the kind of things I've learned were from bad experiences. So it's like guys who ripped me off that I got through the whole session, they only had $50, or the guy said he was going to pay me the rest on Zelle, and so that because he only had this amount in cash, so then he pays me in Zelle, and then he came instantly. Like like within 5 minutes he came. And then I'm like, oh well, you don't have to leave yet. Like you have the full hour. Maybe you'll get horny again. You never know. Like, Usually guys do. But,
Yeah.
he was so quick to get out and he grabbed the cash off the counter. He's like, oh, well, I already Zelled you what, that was worth. I was like, that's not how this works. Like,
Yeah.
so I've had really just bad experiences. And, I will try to vet my client a little bit before where I'm like, tell me about you, like, describe yourself a little bit. You know, I just want to make sure there's chemistry and that, they're not going to waste their money on me showing up and just completely not being a part of, like, in it, in a good headspace. I want to have a boner and I want to perform well, but I also, you know, like, they don't deserve technically like all of me. I'm giving them a piece of me for that a certain amount of time. And so I've had guys where they think I'm giving them all of me and that we're in a relationship and
Oh,
like, so one guy, he's like, well, you just want me for my money. And I was like, what gave you like the impression I didn't want you for your money? I was just too good. I made too good of eye contact. I don't know like what it was, like, you know. So
yeah.
then
No.
this guy like retaliated against me. He like, was giving me 1-star reviews on my rent man, saying my photos weren't accurate, like stupid things like that. And it was all because I was telling him when I was available and how long I was available for on this particular instance, and he was like, "You're managing me, and I don't like that." But
Oh,
I think there
trust
was
me.
yeah, I think there was drugs involved. Like I think he was like smoking or something, and I try to avoid those clients like because they do kind of lose it, and you could tell because it's like go to sleep. Like it's been a couple days. I don't think you know.
Yeah, no. I've had a few of those psycho clients too. And the drugs, the biggest telltale I've been able to pick up on is when they're texting like this. When their responses are instantaneous. I'm just like, yeah, you're fucked up.
Yeah, like they won't
Like,
even like create a paragraph. It's just like line, send. And it's like, misspellings out the, wazoo, basically. Like, oh, yeah. It's kind of obvious at this point.
yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up though, because that's something I've wanted to talk about for a while is a lot of people don't seem to understand that like rentmen or escorts, it's not fucking Match or eHarmony or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a service. You're not
Yeah.
like and a lot of guys go into it thinking they're gonna find their boyfriend. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And I mean, I've gone on there and I hired a guy before, and some of the best sex in my life was with this guy. It was great. Um, he wouldn't leave until he nutted like twice inside of me. Like, I mean, it was great. I was having the time of my life. And then I tried to hire someone else, and it was a terrible decision. He showed up late. He was like drunk or something, and
Oh,
and he was like, like really trying to get aggressive, and I was like, whoa, we're like, read the room, like we, like you just got here, like I don't know, it was just off. So I was like, actually, I'm not feeling this. He's like, well, you still gotta pay me. I was like, I have no problem paying you to leave. Please get out of here. So, it's a hit or miss, and I think people have to, you know, go for the ones that they know have more of a name, in my opinion, because if they get too many bad reviews, like reputation, like kind of starts going around. Like I'm not trying to out and like scam anybody. And I think
yeah.
this industry has a lot of scammers that are impersonating guys, and it gives us a bad name because, one guy was like, I was gonna hire someone else. He thought Sir Peter was in Tucson. I was like, you're an idiot. Like, I was like, like, how would you think that this superstar was, just casually in Tucson, like, and then wants your money? Like, without even meeting. I don't know.
Yeah.
People got to use their brains a little bit, you know.
Well, I'm guessing you've gotten messages on Twitter, Instagram from fans where it's like, "Hey Max, are you in Sydney? Are you in Germany? Are you in wherever?
Yeah.
Because I just saw you on Grindr." And you're like, "No, dude."
Yeah. Definitely. That has happened so many times. So many fake accounts. And, you know, I feel bad, like, for people who do get scammed, you know. So that's why I try to be kind of, like, present on social media, at least on Instagram or Twitter, you know. But, I mean, there's, like, my one friend, Adam Ramsey, he was just, like, on a catfish episode, indirectly, because someone was using his photos. You know, and this girl, she thought she
What?
was fully in love with him, and I'm like, oh, that's so funny. Because I mean, he's pretty famous, so it's like in nightlife, especially. So if you don't, you know, I don't know.
Okay, that's one thing I don't understand is the whole catfishing thing.
Yeah,
Because let's say you and I are talking online, and whatever, you could keep that going for maybe a few weeks,
yeah,
best case scenario. But if you're not willing to get on fucking webcam or FaceTime with me, fuck this. Like, I don't see how you keep that shit going longer than a couple weeks. It's not like this is 20 years ago. Everyone's got a smartphone.
yeah.
I don't get it.
It's so obvious too, like when they have like a fake Instagram, because they'll have posted like 5 or 6 photos like on the first day. And they always just got an Instagram like last year. You know what I mean? Or something like that year. I don't know. My
Yeah.
Instagram, I've had that since it started, basically. You know, like almost
Interesting.
10, 12 years ago. You know, and I mean, I took the one is because my real name's Corey, so all my high school friends, everyone I knew I had turned to porn like that day, because and they all kind of stopped.
Like, who the fuck is
Yeah, they're
Max?
like, "Who is this? Why am I following this guy?" Oh, it's Corey. So they a lot of them unfollowed me. They were like, "Yeah, we're not about that life."
So how did that go over with when you decided to start doing that with your friends and
I think it
stuff?
really just kind of like showed who like is an accepting person,
Mhm.
because my life choices doesn't say anything about you or like what you're doing with your life. You know, it's not like I think people hate what they want. Most of the time, like that kind of is consistent. Um, yeah, I mean, sheesh, I didn't expect like the straight friend I knew from school who's like now a cop wanting to still follow me, because that I can kind of understand, but it's like certain friends I thought we had a deeper connection. I thought we had meaningful memories, but what are you gonna do? You can't, convince everyone to accept something just because I mean their whole life they were told like porn is probably the end of rock bottom or God only knows what they've been fed. And I mean I believe that kind of you know consensus back in the day. I thought I would have to make a lot of sacrifices to live this life, and really it's just like fake relationships that didn't serve me. Because at the end of
Yeah.
the day it's like I want to be happy, and you know
Yeah. That's actually the reason I started this show, was to show the world that porn stars weren't all drug addicts and alcoholics and train wrecks and rock bottom, as you said.
Yeah,
It,
100%. And I think like times have just changed, like in general, because social media has kind of demystified, taking kind of that like shadowy kind of like, it's just kind of brought everything to light, and shown that we're just normal people at the end of the day. And I think,
yeah.
it was easier back then to kind of assume, well, unfortunately, our industry, there are a lot of guys who, are living that life, that reckless
Yeah.
party
Mhm.
life, and we see it every year. Like, we lose so many guys, and it's
Yeah.
always hush hush, like they don't want to talk about it. But it's like, can we be a little more real? Because I think there's a lot to be learned from guys who, unfortunately, I mean, R.A.P. Oh fuck, this has got dark and heavy, but it's sad. Like I hate like seeing young guys just kind of throw their lives away, and you know, all in the name of I don't know, like.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm glad you brought up because it's absolutely true. It seems like every day I'm on Twitter, I'll see another porn star opening up about, their addiction, or you'll see them begging for money, or
Oh,
and just like, God damn it, can you guys stop perpetuating this stereotype?
yeah,
Like,
I mean,
the fuck?
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, if someone needs help, I'd rather them reach out, But
Mm, yeah,
yeah, like I seen guys where they're like GoFundMe for new furniture for their apartment or something. And I'm like that's not a good look. But if
no,
you that's how
no,
you want to milk your money out of your fans, by all means do it. But yeah, I think like you know, I'm more like about guys who are just trying to do everything. They're trying to party on the weekends. They're trying to go out and just kind of run themselves ragged, and they get wrapped up in like the lifestyle,
yeah,
and egos play a big part into that as well. I think people think they're invincible, and like we were talking about the mortality thing. I think I had a couple experiences where I was like, I need to be more thankful and grateful, and yeah. Not a lot of people go down that route.
yeah, no, for sure. One thing that you said though that I wanted to comment on, and it's so true, and I've noticed this the older I get in life, is people you think will be loyal to you aren't,
Mm,
and the ones that you never thought would be
mm,
are.
yeah.
Like when you switch your name, it's like, what? I wasn't expecting this person to stand by me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I have one straight bro friend. He's married, has kids, and he still comments on my stuff. He's in my DMs, just like saying the nicest things. And it's never like I know he's straight. Like I know he's just a good guy. He's just a confident,
Yeah,
secure guy that being friends with someone like me wouldn't change. Like I don't know what we had like when we were friends because we were roommates for a little bit, and yeah, like I'm always like, wow, this is like the mold for me. Like this is like a very confident guy, and I wish
yeah,
everyone was like that. And he's like a dude's dude, as far as I know,
yeah,
so,
yeah.
whatever that
No,
means.
I know. I know exactly the type you're talking about, and
Yeah,
no, it's refreshing when you encounter people like that.
yeah.
So, when you decided to go into porn and you're on your first studio shoot, what was that like?
Sheesh. It was scary at first, for sure. I mean, I didn't know how I would do. It was bottoming scenes. And then there was. Oh, okay. Well, okay. So the first scene I really did was for Cocky Boys, and that was the bottoming scene. And then I flew to San Francisco for a Falcon movie, and one of the guys was sick, so I ended up being in the third scene. So I was in like 3 out of the 5 scenes in this movie, and they're like, "Oh, well, let's just name it Max in the City." I was like, "Oh wow!" Like I thought I was getting like such like good treatment. And
Yeah,
I think that kind of like blew my head up a little bit in the beginning because I was like, "Oh wow!" Like I'm getting all the big gigs. And I think that's why I'm really just grateful that we have like Just for Fans and like pages like that because it kind of gives us like the power back to us. And
yeah,
if it wasn't for that, I probably would need a day job at this point.
yeah,
Because yeah, you can't really rely on studios. You're set after like a few years. They go for someone new or they go for their favorites, and you know honestly, I think for my mental health, it was like studio work wasn't exactly, giving me like what I needed.
Mm.
At the end of the day, I would always just feel like run down and ragged, because these would be like 10-hour days sometimes,
Yeah.
8 to 10 hours. And, they expect you to be hard for like 5 of those hours, like, and they'd be like, oh, let's have lunch now. And I'm like, let's just get this over with. Like, let's just like, can we just do photos later? Like, or like while we're filming? Every studio is different. I just, I prefer the studio where it's one guy, one camera. Why is there like 10 guys watching me fuck right now? Like, they're those studios are kind of like the Me Too studios. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on those sets.
Yeah. So, would it be safe to assume you vastly prefer shooting your own fan content to studio work?
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so much more. Like, just like, you're hooking up with someone that wants to be there. 9 times out of 10 they do. Because the studio scene is just a couple guys who are like, oh, put these two together. Like, there's no chemistry. There's no like pre-chat. So when you make your own, and I have more control over my stuff. I can edit it how I want. I can release it when I want.
Yeah.
I think that's really the best part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, and instead of being 10-hour days, it's like hour-long days, and you don't have to travel.
100%. Oh yeah. And like, also, it's different because like the money is like delayed. So it's
Mhm.
just like the more work you put into it, the more money you get out of it. But
Yep.
like, yeah, studio, yeah, it's nice to get the check at the end of the day. But
Yeah.
everyone has their style, and I think the way studio has played out, like, people don't even need that anymore. They get famous just off Twitter. And I know guys who've never set foot on a studio set, and they've got like 1 million followers. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell?
No.
Like, how do I get into that?
I God, that's actually one thing I was talking about yesterday with my best friend is how do some of these guys get the followings that they have? Because like if you think of like if I think of the biggest gay porn star in the world, I think Rocco Steele. Everyone's heard of him. Even straight people have heard of him.
Yeah.
I think of the biggest straight porn star in the world, I think Jason Love. I mean,
Oh yeah.
even gay dudes have heard of Jason Love.
Yeah.
But there's so many people who have way bigger followings that nobody's ever fucking heard of. And I'm like, how the fuck does that happen?
Sometimes it's like, I think like somehow they bought an ad, or like,
I don't
like
know, dude.
other, like in China or something like that. Who knows?
I'm trying to reverse engineer it because I want to know why. Like, how?
I mean, it's just crazy to me to think that there's that many people consuming gay porn. Like, I'm like, oh, there really is 1 million people watching gay porn. Like, wow. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. I guess it has to be true. Proofs in the
Yeah.
pudding at a certain point, but.
Yeah. No, I get it. So, what does the future look like for you?
Sheesh. I mean, I feel like for so long I was kind of like wanting. It's so stupid because like those award shows they're kind of just like gassing each other up, you know.
Uh,
And I think it was like once I got like my hands on a Gavian, I was kind of like, okay, I don't really have to chase that like rat race kind of anymore. I think like my priority shifted once I got my hands on one, and I was like, it's not as important as I thought it was gonna be, And so at this point, I mean, I feel like I got like a second wind in my own content. I have a consistent base for the most part. I have regular amount of subs coming in to kind of replenish the ones who are leaving. I'm paying my bills. but I don't think I'm gonna do porn forever, you know. But there is definitely like for men, I think we have more of a window, you know, than like say like a female star might, you know. Um, we're just set up better for that, and I think, you know, I love fitness. I love staying in shape, eating healthy. I've been vegan like 9 years, so I'm like, you know, really like
What?
adamant about like kind of proving you can do that and like maintain like muscle and like, you know, health. And you know, I've always just wanted to like I think push that, and so I don't think that'll ever go away where I'm like gonna let myself go completely, you know, and not care about like, you know, building strength. Or I don't know, like I definitely see myself going into like the other side of porn. You know, I have a little photography page. You know, I love filming for friends of mine, and you know, like I think there's a lot to do with porn without necessarily being in front of the camera. So
Yeah.
who knows?
Damn. So, what inspired you to become a vegan?
Sheesh. Watched a couple documentaries. I had done. Actually, I had tried acid for like the first time around this time. I think it got me kind of just like in my mind thinking more about like why am I afraid to like watch a documentary? Like, what am I so like what am I gonna think I'm gonna get brainwashed? You know. So I realized maybe I had kind of been indoctrinated into meat eating and you know thinking you can only get protein from meat, but there are plant proteins. And I don't know, I feel amazing. Like after the first week I felt a difference in my energy levels. um and yeah, I mean, at this point it's just intuitive eating. Like I don't even have to think about it. And the time just flew by. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't have that many friends invite me out to dinner as much anymore, but like, you know, I do have like, you know, good friends that are understanding and like are really cool about it, you know, like they'll eat like that one vegan meal with me and it might be their only vegan meal they eat the whole year, but they ate it with me and I love that, you know.
Okay. Yeah, no. I mean, I personally would never be vegan. I like meat too much, and I
Yeah.
don't think it would be possible to maintain my weight doing that.
Yeah.
However, I have heard so many people who are vegan who, same thing as you. They're like, I feel better. I have way more energy.
Yeah.
And like, I watched, what was that one documentary on Netflix? The Game Changers,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched that. That was really
It's
interesting,
amazing.
so.
Yeah, they're supposed to be coming out with like a second one, I think. Um, and that, yeah, that was the thing. So I didn't know that there were bodybuilders who were vegan and athletes and Olympians and marathoners and you know excelling and breaking records in their fields. And you know, yeah, I thought they just ate salad. Like I didn't know that you could make pizza and like pasta and like all these things that you love just switching out ingredients. Like I'm lactose intolerant, so I was already 40% of the way there, you know. So it was like just switching to oat milk and, you know, like vegan like certain alternatives. But yeah, I don't hate the taste of meat. Like I still like the taste of it. You know, that wasn't what stopped me from eating it. It was definitely like seeing inside of a factory farm, seeing how we get milk. I think that's what changed my mind was seeing the cruelty and just the kind of like greenwashing, like they say, you know, like oh it's humane and it's you know I just it didn't sit right with
Yeah,
me seeing you
yeah,
know, because we think cows are just like they just make milk, you know, but it's because they're
yeah,
mammals, so you know they have to be pregnant to have babies and have milk, and so you know they rip the babies away, they take the milk. It's kind of cruel, I mean, in my opinion. So, and
yeah.
it's an
No, no, I
environmental
get it.
thing, you know, but
No, I get it. Like, I have two pet pigs, so I
oh my
understand.
god, amazing.
Because people think of pigs, and I'm like, no, dude, they're just like
They're
dogs. Like
smart.
they're potty trained. They're wicked. Actually, frankly, they're too fucking smart.
Yeah.
Like they know how to open the refrigerator and get into
Yeah.
things.
I would hate
Yeah,
that.
they just sit there and like always watch me do shit, so they learn how to get
Yeah.
into things. Like,
Yeah, and you know, and I never want to be like a preachy vegan, and so that's why I always just try to live by example and like just try to prove
yeah,
like, and especially with like bottoming, there's a lot of bottoms who, you know, you got to douche out, you got to clean your hole. Um, for me, it's very easy. It's super fast because I get a lot of fiber naturally through what I eat. So you know, I hear bottoms that take like an hour to douche or they starve themselves, and I just don't live that way. And I
yeah.
want to help guys who actually, you know, they that do bottom, you know, because it is beneficial for that. For sure.
Yeah, no, like just thinking about the opposite side of that equation. I agree with you because I did once have an ex who it would take like 45 minutes to clean out.
Every time,
And
huh?
it just, and it sucks because, you'll be out and about and you'll be getting horny and worked up. And then, you'll get home and it's like, I don't mind waiting for a couple minutes, but
Yeah.
when you're waiting for 45 minutes, it's like, okay, this is,
Yeah, boner killer.
it's hard to maintain your enthusiasm. You
Well,
see what
yeah,
I'm saying?
it's not. Yeah, at that point, it's kind of like the moment's gone. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. I'm on track. Like, I know when I have to go. Usually, it's right in the morning. Um, yeah, and it's just been so much better for that, and that's why I think I've maintained it as long. Like, apart from the animal aspect, it's definitely
No,
my digestion. It is night and day. It really is.
absolutely.
Um,
So, one, I've talked to a few people about this, but I feel like you would be a good person to
yeah.
talk about with. So, one thing that drives me absolutely insane is this whole idea that, like, oh my God, fuck me, daddy, I'm super tight. And I'm like,
Oh
I
yeah.
totally don't want to fuck you. I'm like, where did this idea come from that like tight feels good? And I remember I was shooting with the dude, and he was like, I thought tight felt good. So I grabbed his wrist and squeezed really hard. He's like, ow. And I'm like, exactly. Why would my dick be any different, dude?
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't feel good.
I think that's just like heteronormative, kind of like, um, you know, like it bleeding into the gay like scene, you know, because like they're very much
Interesting.
like her pussy needs to be pure and she needs to have never been with a guy, like she needs to be a virgin. Her
Oh,
pussy needs to be tight. I think that's where that comes from. But in our scene, it's like kind of like the opposite, in my opinion. I
agree.
want a hole that can open up. I want to be able to play with it. I want to be able to stretch it out. Like I'm versatile, so I kind of like am on like I lean on both sides, so I
Yeah.
know what I want in a bottom. You know, I want him hairy. I don't want him be all shaved and hairless or razor burned or like I just want a couple miles on the on the tread. So I yeah, I don't know.
So I guess my question along those lines is, as an experienced bottom,
Yeah.
what would your advice be? Because I've been with quite a few guys where it's like they don't want to be so tight, but they don't know what to do. So what advice would you give to them? Like how can they loosen up so it's not a goddamn vice grip?
Practice definitely makes perfect. I have always been into toy play. You know,
Mhm.
I call it self love because there's that inner kind of like side, like that, like kind of split personality in me, where it's like kind of like a dom sub duality, and that dom side of me wants to like fuck my hole and wants to like open me up, and that's what's generating a lot of that energy in me. because to lube up a dildo, suction cup it on the wall, it's not the same as like getting fucked, you know. But it's good to like treat it like a workout in that way. You can't build muscle if you don't practice and like actually do the work. So our butthole is
Yeah.
like the exact same thing. You gotta kind of get it used to stretching out. Um, but not too much because you don't want to rip it. So you gotta start slow and if you're starting from zero, yeah, get like a small toy, get like those butt plugs that like go up in size. Start with the small one, the middle, and really like, I mean, this is probably if you want to learn to bottom, do a butt plug because then like jerk off with the sensation of something in your butt, that connection between your dick and your ass, it's just gonna, that bond is gonna get stronger. And, the more you do that, the more getting your butt played with is gonna make you like, get hard and turned on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
like, I mean, it's like, yeah, it's just like any workout. You gotta put in the time, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, that all makes sense. I think that's good sound advice.
Yeah.
So, one question I have though is how in the okay, one of my best friends, like he used to be built like me, and then he became a truck driver, and now he's like orca fat,
Oh,
right? So, that happens to most truck drivers in my experience.
yeah.
So, how do you maintain your physique while basically living on the road the majority? I don't understand how that's possible.
Um, well, I think I like hacked the system, so I didn't put a toilet or a shower in the van. So I kind of have to go to the gym when I'm on the road to like
Oh,
use the bathroom or take a shower. So I think just going into the gym to just shower and do that would feel wrong. So I like make it into the workout, like make sure like, I mean, and I'm lucky I have friends when I'm in a city, I can stay at their house, park in their street. Usually they'll give me like a spare key. That's like a good friend. It's like they let me douche at their place. That's really like the
oh,
best setup. But yeah, I'm never like stuck in the chair of the van like driving 20 hours a day like a truck driver. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, that makes
I'll
sense.
probably go like 4 or 5 hours, stop, get lunch, get dinner, go to the gym, like, just I make it a priority. And yeah,
Yeah,
I think I do eat relatively healthier than like the normal person, but I
yeah,
definitely eat a lot of junk food as well. Like I'm not, wheatgrass shots or like when I wake up, like nothing like that.
yeah. I get it. So, what do you do like in your free time?
Play
What
video
are your hobbies?
games. I try to hike. Tucson has a lot of good hikes. Editing my own content takes up a lot of time as well. I think like a
Yeah,
video will take me at least a day, on and off. I'm editing throughout the day, Like I don't want to just sit down and like, spend too long doing it. But if I'm like, I love to procrastinate, so like I'll like set arbitrary deadlines and then, the night before I'm like, blah, 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 like trying to knock something out. But yeah, I
yeah.
don't know. Like I like my Nintendo Switch. I'm kind of like a nerd like that. And I try to read a little bit here and there. Just I don't know. Go to karaoke with friends. I think that's like my only time I like to go to the bar if I'm not being paid to like go or something. Is like just get
Yeah.
drunk and go sing. No,
Gotcha. So, do you have a game console in your van?
no, no. But I do have the
Uh,
Switch, so you can take that on the go. What is it?
I don't.
So like this.
Oh, so it's like a Game Boy.
Yeah, yeah. So this, yeah, it's like a Game Boy, and then you can just put it right on the console, and it goes to the TV as well.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
yeah. So like if you're playing,
Damn, I haven't played the console in like 30 years, so this is like all news to me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the best thing about the Switch is that you be playing it on the TV. You got to take a shit. You just pick it up and you can play it on the toilet.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
now I feel old.
and then these like little controllers come off, so you can like it's crazy.
What? Dude, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Technology has come a long way. Jesus.
Yeah, they're hoping they come out with a new one that can do like 4K, but we'll see.
Okay.
Yeesh.
So, anything else you want to accomplish in your life that you haven't done yet?
So
'Cause like you said,
far,
you're aware of your own mortality now. So,
yeah. I don't know. I think I might like take up a cooking class. Get more deeper into you know vegan cooking and I mean I'm learning a lot on my own, but I think it would be nice to get like a professional like session kind of in there. I don't know. I've been playing with that idea. I loved building out the van, so I learned a lot about construction. I like have like dreams about like renovating my own bathroom, but I'm also like afraid. Like, what if I fuck it up? But I don't know.
well, spoiler alert, you're gonna fuck it up, but then you're gonna learn from it, and then you're gonna make an amazing bathroom.
Hopefully, I mean, how hard is it to put tile on a wall, and who knows?
Yeah, and the thing is, now we got fucking YouTube, man. It doesn't matter. You could want to know how to. I'm sure you could find a fucking YouTube video on how to build a rocket ship.
Oh,
You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah, oh yeah. I just did. I just replaced my toilet with like the dual valve, so it's like one for one or two. So I just installed that, and then YouTube walked me through it. So
Okay. Dude, if you can do that, you can fucking redo the whole bathroom.
hell yeah.
I think that's the hardest part.
Sheesh. I mean, I'm
So,
really happy you had me on your show and everything.
yeah, no, I've had a blast talking to you. So, for anyone who's watching, where can they find your content? Your Instagram, Facebook, Just for Fans, all that good shit.
Uh, yeah. So just for fans, Twitter, Max Adonis, XXX, and then Instagram is Cork Swag. Um,
Is what?
so yeah, it's Cork Swag.
CORKSWAG.
Yeah,
Okay.
because my real name's Corey, so it's like
Okay.
it kind of just stuck. I never wanted to change it, and yeah,
Okay. Awesome. And two last questions.
yeah.
First, if you could only have sex in two positions for the rest of your life, what would they be?
Doggy for sure. And then what's that one where you kind of like lay back and they fuck your throat?
No, like penetration positions.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess doggy and then missionary. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect. And then last question is if if someone's new to you and they're just finding out about you, how would you summarize your fan content? Just so they know what they're subscribing to.
Sheesh. I mean, I got such a wide range of like interests, and um, I think there's a little bit for everybody. There's group stuff, there's threesomes, there's cum, there's oral videos. I love to swallow a good load after worshiping a cock. A lot of pretty dicks I worship. I try to find like nice, beautiful, like uncut, men, and yeah, definitely just good gay sex. I mean, men on men. So
Okay. And actually, I lied. One final question. Everything you've done, everything you've seen, everything you've lived through in your life, if you could give one piece of advice to the people watching, what would it be?
yeah, like just stop wasting time, like wanting something or like just go for it. Within reason, for the most part. But like I always figure we're gonna make a decision based out of either fear or love. So like if you're afraid of something, you're gonna make up a million reasons why not to do it. But if you just like kind of embrace the uncertainty and like the just embrace more of like what could go wrong and kind of like put that to the side and then just go into it, you're gonna find like you're challenged, you're gonna grow, you're gonna do way better than if you had just sat there wondering what if.
Yep.
So I think, yeah. Don't be
Okay, I
afraid to
like
do what you want. Live your life. No one's keeping track but you.
yeah. Just say fuck it and jump in the deep end of the pool.
100%, yeah.
Hey guys, just want to say thank you for watching this video. And if you did really enjoy it, I just wanted to mention there are two ways that you can help to support this channel. On the right side, there are three little dots. If you click those, there is a super thanks button. And on the left-hand side, there is a join button where you can join this channel. There are three different tiers of memberships. The top tier does actually allow one-on-one messaging with me via Discord. And I personally answer that. It is not a service. That's just, both of those are ways that you can help support me as a content creator in this channel. I mention this because YouTube is by far the thing that I enjoy doing the most. It's the thing I'm most passionate about. And unfortunately, a lot of the sexual videos, the porn star confessions, the Dom sub, all that stuff, it is not monetized due to the nature of the videos. But either way, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I hope you guys all have an absolutely amazing week. I love you all.